Hi friends, and welcome to the channel. My name is Ryan Abair, and this is where I share my insights. And today I'm talking about living with a guilty conscience. As someone who lived most of my life feeling like something was fundamentally wrong, I want to help you examine existence through a different lens and realize that existence is totally innocent. Stick around. You may be one of these people that has a difficult time with free time, having things. You might have a difficult time not having things. You may have a difficult time when things don't go your way, when you don't have a choice, or when things feel out of control. Or you may be one of these people who thinks they are a complete screw up. And nothing works. You can't improve yourself. You can't seem to overcome anything. No matter what the circumstance, there's this gnawing feeling that it's not right. There's a gnawing feeling that you're not good enough. You don't have enough skill. You don't have enough intelligence. You don't have enough money. You don't have anything. You may feel like your life is a complete and total shambles. And that the things you said, the things you've done, the things you like, the fact that you can't even figure out what you want, all these things lead to a guilty conscience. I know I felt guilty about all kinds of things. But then I started examining my lineage. I started really questioning whether or not anything was really mine. That's where this started for me, including my guilty conscience. Was this mine? Was my life mine? Was control mine? And then I realized what a guilty conscience was. A guilty conscience is a world as it ought to be. A world as it should have been. And a world as it should be in the future. Now, to create a guilty conscience, you must have what's called an alternative reality. In order to create an alternative reality, you must be a good storyteller. And a guilty conscience is good storytelling. Or bad storytelling. No matter what it is, it's storytelling. Control is storytelling. And this is how we create a God in the sky that sometimes is nice to us and sometimes is not. We make stories about God, and that's what allows us to control God. But I want to introduce you to the world as it is. There's a song. It goes, "That's just the way it is. Doodaloo, doodaloo, doodaloo." And it seems to me that the more I accept the way it is, I am less and less interested in a guilty conscience. The world as it ought to be. The world as it is unchangeable. Here are some examples of the world as it is. Your parents. That's the world as it is. Where you grew up, your childhood, how people treated you in school. You can call it whatever you want. You can call it horrible, bad, abusive, whatever. But we must admit, it's the way it is. And from there, you realize that there is no choice. This is what confuses a lot of us, is that we had no choice as to the family we were born into the background, the educational system, the race, the gender, the religion, and then all of a sudden, in our adulthood, we're given a choice. We're given a free will at some point in our life. I say, we've been given the keys to the good car. It's like God says, all right, now you're on your own, buddy. I brought you here. I gave you a mother. Now you're 18. Good luck. See you later. But that's the ego. The ego is the story capacity. It's the mind that we are given that loves to make stories of the world as it should have been, the world as it ought to. I should have said this. I should have done this. I should be doing this. It's an alternative to what you're doing. And guilt is born. Guilt is born out of a story. And so is religion. Don't get me started on that. God is born out of a story. And so the world as it is, you realize, is unchangeable, unfixable, and dare I say, perfect. Because you have to look at it in the context of the entire universe. I like what Sadhguru says. He says, if you can improve upon the universe, go for it. But you're too dumb. We're too stupid to be able to circumvent reality. The perceptions are completely primitive. There is something. Reality happens way too quick. There's no such thing as reaction time or response. A lot of that is storytelling. And you have two worlds. You have the real one and the world of stories. And these two worlds don't coincide, and that's what you get. That's what's called resistance. Let me tell you something. It took me forever to figure out what resistance was. Manifestation gurus talk about resistance, but nobody says what it is. It's the world as it is. Reality, quiet. Quiet mind, quiet voice, quiet insides. And then there's the story of what I want, what it should be, how it's all fucked up, how it just doesn't ever go my way. That's a whole script. That's a script that doesn't have anything to do with how it is. And you begin to move from this descriptive, should have been, could have been, would have been, I need it, it's screwed up, everything's wrong or everything's right, to what it is. And that's how the universe unfolds in this moment called what it is. It's really not called anything. It's really not even noticeable. Because by the time you notice what we have labeled the present moment, it is no longer that. It's really the past. So your actions are not yours. Your thoughts are not yours. Your desire is not yours. The universe is not nobody owns the universe. You don't own yourself. There's no you inside that body to own anything. That's the thing. And guilty conscience rises out of this illusion of something called mine. Not even your so-called story or your so-called guilty conscience is yours. That's us to say that we shouldn't put criminals in prison. But there is no choice. There is no individual that is essential to the universe. And when you realize how inessential you are, like, that's what dawned on me, is that I'm not necessary. I'm completely every job I've ever left has thrived. Every relationship, the person I left or they left me, they're doing fine. Every person that's ever died, the things they left behind they continue or whatever. It's as if I am completely frivolous as an individual. That's what you'll realize, is that the universe is fine without you. And so in that inessentiality, you become innocent. It's not mine. I'm not doing this. These words are not mine. This face is not mine. I didn't make it. I didn't so-called design it or make it or choose it. Why all of a sudden when you have a choice when you leave the house at 18? And yes, we do have something that appears like a free will. We do. What good does it to know that? It gets you into the choiceless nature. That you are not a free-roaming, autonomous creature that pushes around the environment. And that the environment is not you. And that your thoughts are not you. It's just that they're not yours. There's no possessiveness to it. And control eludes us. Just when you think you have something under control, all hell breaks loose. All kinds of. It's like trying to pin down reality, to get the ultimate truth, to know it before it happens. All of that is resistance. It's all born out of storytelling. So you're telling yourself a bunch of stories. And you're feeling bad about your stories. In a world called ought to be, should have been. I want you to go off script. And what I do is I sit with reality. I sit with my feelings. Yes, they're unpleasant, but if I sit with them and accept them, they dissolve. If I sit with my circumstances and accept them, the unpleasant ones they just sort of dissolve. And you learn to be in this real world which has nothing to do with the physical world whatsoever. You become immune to it. That's what's so wonderful about you. This is what it means to be saved. All you evangelicals, you think you need Jesus to be saved. No, there's no Savior. Sorry if I offend anybody's sensibility. Nobody needs a hero or a savior or anything. Nothing's wrong. This is what it means to be washed white as snow. No more stories, that's all. The mind leaves you the hell alone. I don't know how that happens. You just become more and more centered in your circumstances, and you, as it says in Philippians, you learn to be content no matter what the circumstances. This is important about the word content. It has nothing to do with the contents of your life. It's not yours. Those contents are not yours. Nothing you own is yours, not even your body. That's because there's no you to own it. And that's where innocence comes in. That's where playfulness comes in. That's where joy and love come in. Losing your sense of possessiveness. Losing this constant narrative of should be, ought to be, could have been. Telling a story about what is and denying what is. Accepting what is what opens the portal of immunity to circumstances. And you are not guilty. There is no you. It's the universe. If you want to blame the universe, or blame Canada, as it says in South Park, but there ultimately is no one to blame or praise. That's where innocence, that's the kind of innocence I'm talking about. And it begins by getting out of the story. So if you're sitting there and you feel like, oh, I should be doing something else, it's the story. Sit there and do nothing. And feel those feelings of guilt. And feel how stupid they are. There's nothing you can do if you want to go do something else, whatever. Here's the thing. Whatever you are doing is what's meant to be done. It's just the way it is. And you accept yourself. That's just the way I am. Don't say, I'm just a loser. That's just the way I am. Don't call it anything. No labels. Just be as you are. And love where you are, who you are, the way it is. That's the key to this whole thing, where you uncouple from this possessive, gotta have it this way, should have been, ought to be. Those stories have got to go. It's the way it is, and I love it. I know that's hard. It has taken me a long time to love the way it is. To love that I have no choice. To love that I have no free will. And to love that there is nobody named Ryan inside of this bald-headed body. Consciousness is all of it. And you're free from thinking you did it. You're forgiven. If you need somebody to forgive you, I forgive you. You are forgiven. It's the way it is. Focus on that, not the way it should be. It's a storyless unfolding. Innocent and free from it, free from the circumstance, free from the contents is what it means to be content. Knowing that you're inessential is what it means to be innocent. I hope that you enjoyed the way I think and these insights. And if you'd like to read more about the way I think, my name is Ryan Hebert. Please check out my blog. It's called mymorningmotivator.com. And we'll see you next time.